PVC pipes and water tank. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. This afternoon,
in terms of genuine love for the candidates, Jachikwesin tops all.
I'll vote for Chasupoku. Chasupoku has been able to train more than 1,500 indigenous in Asin North.
All eyes on Asin North as Ghana's two main political parties are set for a fierce political battle with the potential to either increase their parliamentary seats or maintain what they already have.
He says the MPP is trying to scare him. We are not the ones. It is Ghana's law that is scaring him. I am standing here today. That is a lie. He won't go to prison.
We're live in the constituency for the latest. Also, the governing NPP to grill 10 presidential aspirants ahead of a super delegates congress in August.
It is possible, and that is why I am offering myself.
If you elect a poodle, you should be prepared to be led by unseen opportunists lurking in the shadows who control the poodle.
Please make Alan the leader and we'll break the 8.
We have a special report on the men seeking to lead the NPP in the 2024 presidential election. Also, gas and petrol shortage to hit Accra by Wednesday if the fuel tanker driver strike is not resolved. LPG marketers are warning.
If this is not averted immediately and it's allowed to persist till Wednesday, by Wednesday we'll start seeing some queues in various LPG and fuel stations.
We have details as the tanker drivers resolve not to return to work until roads leading to their depots are fixed. And he suffered severe burns as a child during the June 3 disaster. Now a 20-year-old begging to survive.
I really need the surgery because I am experiencing a lot of stigmatization. People do not want me closer to them because of my disfigured face.
That's in our Flats of Trauma series. You want to stay for that? We have sports.
George Afriyie reveals vision for Ghana football after declaring his intention to contest for the FA's presidential seat.
And much later, farmer and philanthropist Isaac Ajaoto crowned overall winner at the maiden edition of the Joy News Impact Makers Awards.
Isaac Ajaoto, please appreciate him.
Keep the applause going, please.
Now, more people are seeing what we are doing, and I'm happy more people are willing to come in to support through Joy News.
I'll give you all that and more here on the Midday News. I am Emefa Apawu. This is your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. We are Joy. And this is your election headquarters, and all eyes are on Asin North as Ghana's two main parties, NDC and NPP, are set for a fierce political battle tomorrow, June 27, with the potential to either increase their parliamentary seats or maintain what they already have. The big question remains, will James Jachikwesin be successful in his bid to return to the House? My colleague Ohiming Teria was in the area for the final round of campaigning yesterday.
Supporters of the New Patriotic Party defied a downpour on Sunday to attend the last open campaign of the party ahead of the by-election on Tuesday. President Akufo-Addo told party sympathizers he had no hand in the prosecution of the embattled Jachikwesin.
He says the MPP is trying to scare him. We are not the ones. It is Ghana's law that is scaring him. It is the law that is working.
But in a swift response, former President John Dramani Mahama insisted President Akufo-Addo erred in comparing the Adamu Sakande story to that of James Jachikwesin.
The president cannot lie to the people of Asin to think Sakande issue is the same as Jachikwesin. Sakande went to prison because he lied. He hid his passport. I am standing here today. That is a lie. He won't go to prison.
Let me take you live to Asin North, where my colleague Richard Kodonyako is on standby for us. Richard, I'm told that anyone who matters in the two main political parties have descended on Asin North. Tell us about the situation.
That is true. After yesterday's big rallies from both political parties, the one that was held by the MPP, led by the president himself, the vice president, the chief of staff, and other big weeks of the MPP, there was another big rally from the NDC led by former President John Mahama. They were hopping from one community to the other. Late in the night, like 12 a.m., they were still on the ground. They were hitting the ground. But today, one would have expected that the dust would settle and there wouldn't be much of political activities. But now it is even heating up. People are popping out of their homes, their farms, and they are joining the big conversation here at Asim Breku. And so it's very, very interesting. You know that no one can say that MPP is winning or NDC is winning. Anyone who could predict will say it is very, very close and any of the candidates could win.
Actually, whatever people have been hearing outside the constituency is not correct. In terms of genuine love for the candidates, the equation tops all. Only that some of the party members of the National Democratic Congress are afraid the elections will be rigged.
But clearly, that is per my understanding. That is what President Akufo-Addo was trying to tell the people. Me, I thought that was the question he was asking the people of Asin North. You understand? Which I feel clearly. You know, our MP from Jomoro, the same thing happened to her. She was also frustrated in a court like this with dual citizenship issue and all her view. But by the grace of God Almighty, today she is free. So President Akufo-Addo said here categorically, asking the people of Asin North that would they be happy to vote for someone who will be sent to jail? How did he know he will be sent to jail? Is the case predetermined?
I'm voting for Charles Opoku.
So tell me, why will you vote for Charles Opoku?
I'll vote for Charles Opoku based on 3 things. Charles Opoku has been able to train more than 1,500 indigenous nationals in their apprenticeship and vocational training. I want to tell you something. When he was coming, he promised us that he'll bring or you create jobs in Asin. But that is not what we are seeing here. And then when my brother was speaking, he said that injustice. But it seems that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Now, justice is prevailing in this country. Honorable Joe Quesin came 2012, came 2016. He couldn't renounce his citizenship. He couldn't. So many, he don't even respect the people of Asin North.
Well, in all this, there have been concerns about potential violence ahead or tomorrow during that by-election. My colleague Ohiming Teria is also covering another portion of Asin North for us. He joins us on the line. So, Ohiming, because of the concerns, we understand that the Electoral Commission, together with the police, are meeting the parties ahead of the by-election. Tell us more.
Yes, Emefa, 3 political parties, the National Democratic Congress, New Patriotic Party, and LPG are taking part in tomorrow's by-election. So the representatives of these political parties are meeting the Inspector General of Police and the entire police administration to iron out any security concerns that could arise as a result of tomorrow's by-election. Just a while ago, the media were allowed to take part in the opening session, and the NDC is being led by the National Chairman Johnson Esiedun Ketia, supported by both the General Secretary and the National Organizer Fifi Kwete and Joseph Yami and other party bigwigs. NPP, on the other hand, is also represented by former Chairman Peter Mark Menu, the National Organizer Nana Boache, and several other officials of the New Patriotic Party. The LPG here is also represented by their Central Regional Chairman, and the police have been spelling out what they expect the political parties to do when the election kickstarts tomorrow. So after the closed-door meeting, the media will be allowed in. We are told the IGP and the Electoral Commission, which is also led by the Director of Elections, Dr. Sebo Kweku, would brief the media on the guidelines, the roadmap for tomorrow's by-election as far as security is concerned here, Emefa.
That's my colleague Ohiming Teria, and this is your election headquarters. We are all over the Asin North by-election for you on radio, television, and online, and also on all our social media platforms. Well, we can hear from the 2 main political parties. They are both setting of winning the Asin North seats. First, we'll start with the NPP National Organizer, Henry Nanabuachi.
Well, yeah, we've done a lot. First of all, we campaign on the numerous projects we've done in the constituency, and the people are very, very happy about it. If you put together all the interventions, the infrastructure interventions in the constituency, we are talking about close to about 120 projects. From Friday, we've seen the Vice President commissioning the 32-kilometer road right from Asim Praso to Asim Fusu. There's also another road completed, that is the Kushia Road. We have the Breku Road. In fact, but for the heavy rain, we've had torrential torrential rain for the past 4 days. But for the heavy rains, the town roads in Breku and then that of Akonfede would have been asphalted. Right? We've had Agenda 111, the hospital coming up is almost about 70% complete. It's got into the roofing stage. We commissioned the AstroTurf there.
Well, the NDC's Deputy General Secretary Mustafa Gbande is also certain that the party will win that by-election tomorrow, but they have concerns about vote buying.
All that they seek to engage in is vote buying. But the question we ask is how long can we sustain this new paradigm being introduced by Nana Addo as one of his legacies? Can we shade away development? Can we sacrifice growth? Can we sacrifice standard of living and begin to share money for the purposes of political expedience? That is how low Nana Addo has brought governance. That is how low the MPP has brought our country to.
Right.
And that for us in the NDC, we believe that beyond the issues in court, and we also know that Jachikwesin is a very honorable person. He is not a criminal. In the eyes of the law as we stand today, nothing forbids him from being a member of parliament.
That's the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Gbande. Well, research agency Global Info Analytics in a recently conducted poll tips the NPP's Charles Opoku as being slightly ahead of James Jachikwesin. Joseph Akable is with our political desk. He joins me in studio with more. What are the details, Joseph?
So in terms of the outcome from this particular poll, it puts him at a lead in terms of just 1.1%, with 6.9% of the voters undecided. And so they were asked the question, who would you vote for in the by-election? 45.6% said they'll vote for James Jachikwesin, and for Charles Opoku, 46.7%. So the other candidates, Bernice Isefenu, who just 0.3% said they'll vote for her, and 6.9% are undecided, and 0.5% indicating that they will not vote at all. They were asked the question again, what action would you take if you were offered an inducement to vote for a particular candidate? 78% said yes, they will accept and vote for that candidate. 16% said they will accept and vote against the other candidate, and 3% said they'll reject and vote against, and the other 3% they'll reject and still vote in this particular election.
Well, details of the Global Info Analytics poll recently conducted, and it's tipping the NPP's Charles Opoku has been slightly ahead of James Jachikwesin, who wins the Asin North by-election. The wait is almost over, and your election headquarters will bring you more all day, all the way till the last vote is counted and the declaration also done. We'll stay a while longer in politics because the NPP, that's the governing New Patriotic Party, is set to vet 10 presidential aspirants in July ahead of the Super Delegates Congress in August to trim the number down to 5. The vetting is to determine the aspirant's suitability to lead the party in the 2024 presidential elections. Well, at the close of nominations, only the former transport director at the Jubilee House failed to turn up. Elton Brobe of our political desk looks at the 10 men hoping to be president in 2025.
The exercise, which opened on Friday, May 26, saw 10 out of 11 flag-bearer hopefuls filed their nominations in their bid to lead the party in the 2024 general elections. One after the other, they pitched their intent to the nation, running mate to President Akufo-Addo in the 2008 and 2012 election, but finally assumed the role of vice president after a resounding victory. Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia said he had built a solid track record of achievements and performance over the last 2 decades and should now be entrusted with the mantle to lead the party and subsequently the country.
It is possible, and that is why I am offering myself in all humility to contest in the primary of this great new patriotic party to become our flag bearer and presidential candidate for 2024.
For 3 consecutive primaries of the MPP, he came second to President Akufo-Addo. With the slogan "Drew Oso," the former Trade and Industry Minister Alan Kwadwo Shematem is hoping to be 4th time lucky. He appealed to delegates of the party to vote for him as Ghanaians were rooting for no other person than him to become the next president and change the country for the better.
If the people of Ghana are asking for Alan to become the next president of our republic, please make Alan the leader and will break the 8.
Former General Secretary of the NPP, Kwabena Japan, said his vision will be to build on inclusivity, economic growth, and sustainable development.
They have a responsibility to choose the next leader of our party with wisdom and forethought. I want to paraphrase the great writer Octavia Butler. Quote, "If you elect a poodle, you should be prepared to be led by unseen opportunists lurking in the shadows who control the poodle."
Former Vice President of the Bank of New York, Boakye Jakon, says he is ready to serve.
This is the time to make them feel that there is a new leadership coming, a new leadership that will turn the corner and make lives better than we see it today.
For 6 years, he led Ghana's agricultural sector with the planting for food and jobs a key driver. Former Food and Agricultural Minister Dr. Fiya Akoto said the party needs to be united to break the 8.
The same way I was able to bring agriculture to the front line of policy discussion, it will be the same way that agriculture will be used to take us out of the clutches of the island.
The rest are former Attorney General Joe Gatti, energy analyst Kwadwo Poku, Member of Parliament for Asin Central Kennedy Ohina Jepon, former MP for Mampong Francis Dainimo, and former Member of Parliament for Offensive of Dr. Kwenedu Apreku. The number of aspirants who filed to contest the 2023 flag bearership is the highest number so far as compared to the 2007 presidential primaries.
Well, Director of Elections of the NPP, Evans Nemaku, says the process leading to the Delegates Congress in November will be fair.
We'll begin the engagement of vetting from 3rd to 6th of next month. When this process ends, the party will get to know whether there will be special electoral college or otherwise. It is hoped that the process towards the conduct of the presidential primaries will start technically from the vetting of the presidential hopefuls.
Evans Nemaku, Director of Elections for the NPP, taking us out of the election headquarters for now. And the LPG Marketers Association is warning there could be queues at gas and petrol stations if the strike of petrol tanker drivers is not resolved by Wednesday. Tanker drivers have declared an indefinite strike over poor roads leading to their depots. Listen to the Vice Chairman of the Petrol Tankers Drivers Union, Sunday Alabi, explaining the reason for the action.
The issue is our roads, our depots, from GTP roundabout to Pum Junction. All the depots are located there. And then Kumasi Depot, the Bosk Enclave, the roads, it's not good there. Takrari, so that's why we are embarking on strike.
The call now is to the roads ministry or who exactly to fix the roads?
2017, we visited the president at the Flagstaff House and we complained about our bad road networks. And he asked the road minister to see to it that he construct the road for us.
How is the poor roads affecting your work as tanker drivers?
As tanker drivers, it breaks our springs, it bursts our tire. And anytime you get to the depot, they do preload inspection. So when they see that your spring is broken or your tire is burst, they will not load you. Before you go and fix those things and come back, it happens again.
Well, Vice Chairman of the LPG Marketers Association, Gabriel Kumi, tells Joy News if the strike extends beyond Wednesday, there could be a complete shortage.
The tanker drivers are part of the chain. They go to the depots and cut these products and send them to the various gas stations and the various fuel stations. So once they are not working, you can expect that whatever we have in our tanks will run down eventually. And once the supplies are not coming in, there will be shortage of LPG and shortage of diesel and petrol in town. If this is not averted immediately and it's allowed to persist till Wednesday, by Wednesday we'll start seeing some queues in various LPG and fuel stations.
That's Gabriel Kumi, Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association. Let's go live to Tema and speak to correspondent Elvis Washington. Elvis, we'll talk about the effect of this particular action, but how bad are the roads they are talking about? You've seen it. Paint a picture to us. Hello, Elvis.
Hello, Emefa. Can I hear the question again?
So I'm asking about the state of the roads that these drivers are talking about.
All right. So, Emefa, indeed, the road is 8-kilometer road, I must say, starting from the Valco roundabout through to the Pone Junction. And indeed, this very road, if you come here, trust me, it's in a very deplorable state, for which reason drivers would have to move in a very slow pace to avoid any rollover. And on this very stretch, there are about 6 different oil depots here. So should there be a rollover according to the drivers? It's going to be national disaster. And apart from it affecting the health of these drivers, they say if there be a rollover of any tanker, it is actually going to be disastrous, for which reason they are actually calling on government to come to their aid. Indeed, in 2021, there was a shortcutting on this very road by the roads minister who promised them that immediately work was going to commence. Indeed, something was started, but it got truncated along the line. If
they fail, then I can assure you that still the tanker drivers will still sit down.
How many days are you giving them
to
get response?
No, we are not giving them days, okay? We have sit down from today till we see or we realize that there's a machine, okay, committed machine. Not that they will bring it today, tomorrow, and then maybe for just to camouflage us or maybe to pollute our mind. Then the third day they will come for it. If we haven't seen them working on this road effectively, mark it somewhere, mark it on the wall, then they will see the tanker drivers in different color.
That's the chairman of the Tanker Drivers Association. The MPA has since declined to comment publicly on the matter now, with leadership saying they are engaging at the highest levels to resolve the matter. We'll bring you further details later in the day. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM, live also on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. We're also on a number of affiliates. We're on Twitter Spaces, we're on Facebook, myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC pipes and water tank. We've been to Asin North, where all eyes are on the two main political parties as they set for that fierce political battle with the potential to either increase their parliamentary seats or maintain what they already have. When we return from the break, we have sports, and then farmer and philanthropist Isaac Ajaoto crowned overall winner at the maiden edition of the Joy News Impact Makers Awards.
Isaac Ajaoto, please appreciate him.
Keep the applause going, please.
Now, more people are seeing what we are doing, and I'm happy more people are willing to come in to support through Joy News.
Imagine say water wake up at dawn, both, chop, where it vanish for your area for 2 weeks. You not get one drop safe inside your tank.
Hey. Hajia, our life was in dangerous.
Only our neighbor get water with water tank.
Water tank?
Yes, water tank. Mamma mia, that water tank get meter for checking water level. That water tank be fine past Kumasi Selenium. That water tank be tough like Ghana Army. That water tank, they carry water pepe, so say some no go left inside the supply tank. What a tank! That's my boss, Mr. Poncho go talk.
Beautiful, durable, with water level indicator and accurate volume of water. Water tank. What a tank. By Duraplast.
Have you noticed that Ghana has suffered lack of attendance at stadia across the country in recent years? Well, the Multimedia Group wants to be part of the solution, which is why we're calling on you, our dear listener, to help us. Our sister station, Inshira FM in Kumasi, has been on a nationwide campaign to identify factors influencing poor patronage of Ghana Premier League matches. This campaign has been widely discussed on traditional and social media since the beginning of the year. And after widespread stakeholder engagement, we have a list of questions in a survey that will help us come out with a communique based on science and data, and we need you to assist by completing this survey. The link to the survey is bit.ly/PhilGPL questionnaire. Once again, bit.ly/PhilGPL questionnaire. Please help Inshira FM and the Multimedia Group complete the survey in order to have a scientific response to this national problem.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's do sports. Mubarak, what do we have?
Thank you very much, Emefa. It's former Vice President of the GFA, George Ifriye, who has promised to make Ghana's national teams formidable and run an association devoid of friends and cronies if elected. Ifriye is back to contest for the FA's presidential seat after losing the last election in 2019 to current boss Keto Kreku, whose mandate ends in October this year.
We need to move on from repetitive mistakes towards a more practical approach to solving problems. In these challenging times, I come in as a beacon of hope, believing in the immense potential of Ghana football to rise above adversities. I offer a vision for future where our national teams will continuously compete at the highest level. Competence is the foundation upon which success is built. I will ensure
that the GFA operates with the highest level of professionalism and competence, devoid of nepotism, cronyism, vindictiveness, and disunity.
Well, that's GFA presidential hopeful George Afriyie.
Thank you very much, Mubarak. Now, he suffered severe burns as a child during the June 3 disaster 8 years ago, but now a 20-year-old begging to survive. That's the story of Solomon Akrigo. He says his completely disfigured face has complicated his woes as he's unable to stay outside on a hot day. He fears even marriage will be a problem because people do not want him closer to them. Here are excerpts of Maxwell Agbagba's report as we continue our Flat of Trauma series.
It is the evening of June 3, 2015. Flat water has displaced fuel from the storage tank underground at a fuel station at Circle. Solomon Akrugu was just 12 years old, sitting in a room nearby. He suffered severe burns on his face. It completely disfigured him. 8 years later, on a Monday morning, I meet Solomon at East Legon doing what he does every day, begging for alms.
I only get food to eat when I go to the traffic light to beg for money. Some of them sack me when I get closer to their cars. Some of them think I am wearing a mask. A man once told me to go and look for a job and stop wearing the mask. A lot of people tell me that. I am homeless. I always sleep in front of shops because I do not have a place I call my home.
He says marriage will be difficult because no woman is attracted to him.
I really need the surgery because I am experiencing a lot of stigmatization. People do not want me closer to them because of my disfigured face. Even the drivers in cars find it difficult to give me money. Nobody wants me around. When the sun is out and hot and the light hits my face, it's really painful. That's why I need help. I can't touch it because blood will start oozing from my face if I do. So I go and hide in the shade until it's evening.
The One Ghana movement has since 2017 been pursuing justice for the persons affected. One of their lawyers, Samson Ladi Anyenini, led the matter in court in 2018. The case is still pending. He says it has been a very slow process.
Because there have been what we call interlocutory processes in the course.
And that's our Flats of Trauma series. Now, the man making a difference through farming, Isaac Ajaoto, has been crowned the overall winner of the maiden edition of the Joy News Impact Makers Award. Isaac founded the Farm for Livelihood Association in Adanfor. The organization, which operates in the Adan East and West, generates income from farms and uses it to support physically challenged persons. Maxwell Agbagba has more.
It was a night of celebration and recognition. Founder of the Farm for Livelihood Association at Adanfor, Isaac Ajaoto, emerged the overall winner. He says the spotlight Joy News has put on his charity work is already yielding positive results as more people are willing to support his efforts.
I'm very much happy. And I'm happy for Joy News. It's very, very difficult for us for the past 2 years. And Joy News and our multimedia group came in with this platform for us to expand our activities that we can even support more people. Now, more people are seeing what we are doing, and I'm happy more people are coming and then are willing to come in to support through Joy News and a multimedia group.
People say charity begins at home, but Isaac Ajaoto's charity does not always begin at home. His wife, Sarah Ajaoto, says her husband is sometimes compelled to use the little they have at home for his philanthropic work.
At times, even you realize that the home is dry, but
when you say that charity begins at home,
yes.
The home is dry and he's doing charity.
Yes, it's doing charity elsewhere. And you see that Sarah will just frown and a whole lot of things. But in all, we are able to make it up to this time, and we give God the glory.
Any instance?
Several times. And you see me complaining. You know, women, we complain a lot, several times. But at times we just can say, dear, this is what I've been called for, and this is what I'm supposed to do.
Founder of the Lepers Aid Committee, Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, received the Lifetime Achievement Award for his humanitarian work at the Wager Leprosarium. He says he is grateful for the continuous support he enjoys from Joy News.
And I want to say a big thank you to Joy.
The Joy News Impact Award celebrates ordinary people making extraordinary impacts in their communities.
Congratulations to all our impact makers. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. You ought to stay with us. Your election headquarters has all the details from the Assin North by-election on television, on radio and online. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com, and don't vote for someone who could end up in jail. Akufo-Addo to Assin North constituents. That and more on myjoyonline.com. We have Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil up next. I am Emefa Apawu. Have a good afternoon.